Hello and welcome everyone to a special edition of the Daily Night. I am your host, Brian Smith, and this edition is going to be about one purposeful event, and that is this weekend's hometown event called Hometown Hero. UCF is trying to get as many of the kids from the Sunshine State to visit and get to know UCF to push forward in Gus Malzahn's true first recruiting class, meaning you recruited him junior year all the way through senior year. This is an important class, not only because it's his first opportunity to do so, but the class of 23, as I have mentioned many times on this podcast and on stories at Inside the Knights, which I'm the publisher on Fan Nation, powered by Sports Illustrated. It is a tremendous in-state group. So with that, a couple of things. I'm in the middle of an article I'm about to publish at Inside the Knights, and this podcast is going in, and here's the key. This little segment, this is going to be a short podcast, but this little segment is about the player, the Pied Piper, the guy that other people will follow. Usually it's a quarterback, generally speaking, but it doesn't have to be. It can be a corner. It can be a guy that plays D tackle, whatever. There are a handful of guys that have credentials in that regard on Instagram, Twitter, just through people knowing each other 7-on-7, and then the rankings on different networks, ESPN or whatever it may be, that can do that. UCF started down that path this past recruiting class. It's actually about to finish up officially next Wednesday with the class of 22. They got kids that other programs like Alabama and Miami and Florida, et cetera, wanted. And that's good. Now they need to do that again with more of them and even higher ranked players. It's just true. If you're going to compete for national titles, you must have elite recruiting classes. They have to eventually get to the point they sign top 10 classes, period. Now, to get there, you got to look at things a little bit differently for UCF. Just a little quick point of contention. They still use the portal for about 30 to 50% of their classes. So how they're ranked is a little different, but we have to be a little more intelligent than some of these other groups right now because they're doing a terrible job of ranking recruiting classes that use the portal a lot. Terrible. That being stated, the kids that they're signing are really good. They just got to go one extra step, and that's what this is. So the Pied Piper, what is that? That is a player that everybody wants to recruit. It could be, a guy that Georgia wants. It could be a guy Alabama wants, Clemson, whatever. Pick the school. And it can also be a guy, and this is very important, that everybody around respects. I know this from being around 7-on-7 a lot, and that's where I do a lot of the interviews and evaluations that I write at Inside the Knights. If you have just one or two of those in a class, you'll get 3 or 4 other kids. It's just the way it works. Everybody thinks that colleges recruit kids and the kids pick. First off, they always pick coaches first, period. Second, if it's a tough decision, they really like this school and this school, like Nick Saban or whatever, it may come down to who they want to play with, and that's the Pied Piper. You can beat Alabama for a kid if you have another player already committed to your program that the really other good player you want is friends with, that respects. They may not even know each other that well, just know of each other, but they want to play together because they respect each other's games. That is the Pied Piper. For UCF, and in this article, I used one player in particular. He's a kid I know well, and he's very heavily recruited. Malachi Singleton. He's from just outside of the northern edge of Atlanta, and he plays at a prominent program called North Cobb. He's used to being that guy. He had like 1,000 yards rushing this past year as a quarterback and well over 2,000 yards passing. He can do it all. National kind of recruit, and he's a kid that's been to UCF before. And as a bonus, his cousin is Creed Whittemore, who's got connections to UCF anyway through family, and is a kid that UCF has also offered. So that's a nice little bonus. If he comes, more than likely, I think Creed will come. They're buddies. The other part is everybody in the greater Atlanta area knows Malachi. And in my opinion, the best city in America to recruit all-encompassing is Atlanta. And the reason is what position Malachi plays, and that's quarterback. The state of Florida does not do well with quarterback, and I'm being extremely kind. He is the difference maker that you need. As an example, there are others, and I'll name a few in Florida here in a moment. But if you get him, you're probably going to get 2 or 3 other areas like Atlanta or Columbus, Georgia, or Macon, everybody knows who he is. They're going to be more comfortable signing with UCF. And not only in this 2023 recruiting class, but there'll be players down the road, 24 or 25. Malachi is really good. He's a really good to go kind of guy with anybody. He can be friends with anybody. He's chill. And he's a kid that's going to compete pretty early. All those things are what you're looking for if you're Gus Malzahn and the Knights, period. So who are some of the kids that they could get this weekend to at least start looking? I mean, they may or may not commit. Timing with Florida kids is all over the map. Before anybody messages me or puts up a question on my YouTube channel or anything, when they forget timing, Florida kids are different. They mostly make decisions on National Signing Day, whether they're committed or not. UCF's going to have to deal with some of that. Having stated that, any of the following kids like Brandon Ennis or Jalen Brown, who I have as the top 2 players in the state of Florida, they will both be at this event this weekend. They are Pied Pipers. Brandon Ennis can pick up the phone and call any school in America today and go to that school. Any. USC to Boston College, Notre Dame to Miami, pick up the phone and it's done deal. He's a great player. Same thing with Jalen Brown. They're both South Florida kids. Ennis plays at American Heritage. Brown plays at Gulliver Prep. Elite players. They're both coming this weekend because they're going to be at the Pylon event in Kissimmee. That's 7-on-7. I'll be there and a bunch of other guys will too. And they're going to go up and check out UCF for the Hometown Hero event on Saturday or Sunday. I don't know their exact schedules, but both will be there. And I also know that, a bunch of other 7-on-7 coaches are going to be taking their kids over. Central AllStars, Certified Dogs, SFE. These are elite programs that will have 5 to 10 kids conservatively off each of them, most of them 10 or more, that will play Division I football. There will be more recruits, literally, this weekend at UCF than any other weekend that's elite in the history of the program. It will not even be close. But part of that is just from the pylon, and the other part of it is the most important, and that's UCF has worked for this. From the day Gus got here, I believe it was the 15th of February last year, until now, him and the rest of his staff, coaches, administrators, recruiting staff, the whole nine, down to the secretaries and everybody else, they have put in the time to set up events like this. You're not going to get Brandon Ennis, a national top 10 kid, to show up on your campus if you're just a traditional UCF. You are not. They have put in the time. So kudos to UCF. If they can even get them to, quote unquote, set up an official visit, and I'm not sure the dates of everything yet for the NCAA because they change everything all the time, probably be June. That's traditionally now when it is camps, official visits, etc. If he lines up a visit with UCF just based off of this, and again, official visit, there's a totally different thing, official and unofficial. Unofficial, you pay your own way. Official, the school pays. That would be an opening because he's a Pied Piper. Not even signing. That's how important a guy like that is. Jalen Brown, exact same thing. They're different. Malachi Singleton, they're different. Same kind of deal. He can pick up the phone and call a lot of schools. Maybe not quite as many as Ennis, but it's pretty close. And he's a quarterback that perfectly fits Gus Malzahn's system and is also a tremendous passer. It's rare to get a guy that can do both as well as Malachi. If they can get any of those kids to make that move, UCF's program can change overnight. They will have other kids, like Malachi just is used again, that will come in and all of a sudden, boom, why would I not want to play with this guy? Cormani McClain. He's from Lakeland. If they get him this weekend, and Cormani's recruitment's all over the place because everybody wants him. He's arguably the best corner in the country. He plays with Brandon in South Florida Express. He plays in Lakeland at Lake Gibson High School. He's right down the road there. Every school in the country would like to have his services. If he comes, anybody like that, that's a top 10 guy, John Walker, Derek LeBlanc, both from Osceola, they've both been on campus. They have street cred with all these recruits. They need somebody like that to, at minimum, set their official visit fairly soon. If they don't, flat out, and I'll call it, they didn't finalize the deal this weekend. And I'm sure UCF would try to comment. That's, I tell it like it is. I don't care. Yay or nay. I'm not a gray area guy. Did you or did you not? Yes or no? They need at least a few guys here pretty soon to set official visits, even though they're Florida kids and they're hard to nail down on things. You need visual momentum on social media, meaning kids saying, my official visit will be such and such date to UCF. Yes or no? By no later than March 1st, preferably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. That's how I'm going to grade it. And I will flat out write that article in early March. Did they capitalize or not? We'll find out. So again, can a player change a program by getting other kids to come with him? Yes. Will UCF do that this weekend? We're about to find out. UCF has a chance to get as many players on campus as they've ever had. They can get a couple of those elite guys to come. Then some of those guys that are just below it that you would still love to have are a heck of a lot more likely to end up signing with your program. It's that simple. So once again, this is Brian Smith. I am the publisher here at Inside the Knights. You can see the little moniker up there. This podcast, if you haven't listened to it before, please like and subscribe. We're going to be doing a lot of these, and recruiting is going to be going bonkers over the next 2 to 3 weeks. The transfer portal as well. I haven't written about it the last couple of days, thank goodness, because it just seems like every day there's something new going on with UCF or somebody else. But that's going to be coming back up again. Hint, there'll be somebody else coming pretty soon, and UCF's going to be deeply involved. Like and subscribe. Make sure you check me out at Inside the Knights on Fan Nation by Sports Illustrated, and everybody have a great day.